sir. Good day, classmate. I am Cherylem Lamberte, Betivited FSM 1B. So for now, I was assigned to a report and to discuss about the two topics of the theories related to the learning development. So I was assigned to discuss the cognitive learning theories and then the social learning theories. So for now, as you can see at my background, I am here in front of the school. So I will discuss to you first the brief history of the theories related learning to the learning development. But even before psychology became an experimental science in 1980s, learning was an important part of it. But there came a time in 1910s that when psychologists became fascinated by learning concepts and learning theories. The 1930s and 1940s, sometimes called the golden age of learning theory, when that was the time that it was the heart and soul of psychology. The goal was to understand objectively how people learn and then develop approaches in teaching accordingly. The first learning theory is the cognitive learning theory. Cognitive learning theory uses metacognition, thinking about a thinking. So it is to understand the thoughts, process, influence learning. So cognitive learning theory is about understanding how the human mind works while people learn. The theory focuses on how the information processed by the brain and how learning occurs through that internal processing of information. So there are philosophers and psychologists of the cognitive learning theory. The first is Jean Piaget. So he was a Swiss psychologist and known as the father of cognitive learning theory. His approaches is the self-centered learning approach, while Plato and Descartes they are deep dive about the cognitive behavior and knowledge. So they are focusing on the behavior and knowledge of the individual. So there are also three types of cognitive learning loop, which is the first one is comprehension. Comprehension is to think how the learning fits into a larger picture, while the memory, the second is the memory. Well it defines as the deep knowledge of learners, and then the third one is the application. Application is to apply our knowledge and skills of what we learn. So Jean Piaget also developed the four stages of theory, which is the first one is sensory motor stage. It is from birth to 2 years old. The infants develop the intellect. The second is the pre-operational stage, which is from age 2 years old to 7 years old. And children think symbolically and imaginatively. And then the concrete operational stage from 7 years old to 12 years old, the children think logically. And the fourth stage is formal operational stage from 12 years and up. So the adults of the time, they have the critical thinking skills. There are also four types of cognitive process. So the first one is the schema, which describes the mental and physical actions involved in knowing and understanding. The second is the assimilation. Assimilation is the somewhat subjective of information and experience of pre-existing beliefs. The third is the accommodation. It is modifying the existing schemas or ideas as a result of new experiences and a new information. The fourth one is equilibration. So equilibration is the balance between the assimilation and accommodation, which achieved through mechanism. So how does cognitive theory apply in teaching? Cognitive theory apply in teaching approach teaches students the skills that they need to learn effectively. This helps students build the transferable problem solving and the skills in study that they can apply in any subject. The second learning theory is the social learning theories. Social learning theory is a learning process and social behavior which proposes that new behaviors can be acquired by observing and imitating others. Social learning theory, proposed by Albert Bandura, emphasizes the importance of observing, modeling, and imitating the behaviors, attitudes, and emotional reaction of others. Years later, Albert Bandura would revise his model because it didn't incorporate and explain all the behaviors. There are also three factors in social learning theory. The first one is the behavior, in which the way one acts and conducts oneself. The second is the personal factors, which the childhood experience, knowledge and education, personality, political and worldviews, goals, and the chosen activities. The third is the environmental factor. Example are the foods, the pollutants, the temperature, the density, the light, and the parasite. So, 5 concepts in social learning theory. The first concept is the observation. It is that an active acquisition of information from primary source. The second is the attention or the stimuli focus. Children can't learn if they aren't focused on the task. The third is the retention or the rehearse encode. People learn by internalizing information in order to learn what we see. What we have is to retain the information. Number 4, reproduction or the practice feedback. We reproduce previously behavior and knowledge when it's required. Number 5 is the motivation or the reward we enforce. Motivation is required when we do anything. This can motivate us to do and not do the same thing. There are 2 types of social learning. The first is the operant conditioning. It is a method of learning employs the rewards and punishment for behavior. The second is the modeling. It is a process of understanding models and using social media so that the learning can enhance further. What is the main goal in social learning theory? The main goal in social learning theory is to show the individual that they can learn multiple ways. People make choices based on self-reflection, but mainly the environment in which a person finds themselves influences by the way they behave and learn. So, how do you apply the social learning theory in the classroom? The social learning theory can be used to encourage and teach the desirable behavior in the classroom through the use of positive reinforcement and rewards. And that's all. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoy my discussion for today. I am Cheryl M. Lamberte, BTVTED FSM 1D. Have a nice day.